G'day, welcome back. I'd especially like to welcome my new subscribers. I hope you enjoy the content on my channel. If you missed my last video, there's a link up there now. You can go and watch that first, then come back and watch this one. Now this week I want to make us some shop made tooling. I've got something in mind that's a bit like I tend to do, left field, and I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to have a go at it anyway. So follow me over the bench, over there, and we'll have a look, see what I'm up to. Alrighty, so what I want to make is lathe tooling, and one for the mill, if I can find a bit of 10mm around here somewhere. I do have a mangled boring bar somewhere. If I can find that I'll use that, but anyway. Now the lathe stuff, I've got this bit of 1/2 inch square, and that's what I want to use. And first up, what I want to make is a chamfering tool that I can use these tips on. The plan is to mill that out so I can fit those tips in there and unlock the corners off it, and that way I can chamfer this side or this side with it, and I can chamfer internal holes and things like that. Because at the moment, you know, I've got to use 2 different tools to do that, so it'll be handy to have there. And on the other end of it, what I want to do is, I'll get rid of that tip. I bought some carbide braze-in threading tips, and this is the left field thing that I was talking about. What I want to do, and I'm a little disappointed, these things said they were 5mm, and I was hoping they meant 5mm wide, but they're 5mm thick, which is a bit of a bugger. But anyway, what I want to do is mill a slot into it and then knock the corners off so they're the same angle going back as the point here, and then make a little clamping piece up so that once it's sitting down into its slot, you just clamp down on it and keep it in place. That way, if you break it or it buggers up or whatever, it can be just changed over quickly and easily. So that's what I want to do with that. Like I said, it's a little bit left field, but hey, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So that's what I'm up to. Alrighty, so we might as well get on with this. While you guys weren't looking, I've dressed up both ends, and I need to go. We'll do the easy one first. So that's the chamfering tool, that one. I need to go down in 2.5mm and back 8. Now I'm not going to go back 8, I'm going to go back 7.8. Now the guy buys second-hand tools off up country. He sent me an odd looking mill a while back, this tapered thing, and I wondered what the hell it was for. Now it did have a bit of a point on the end of it, but I just did it by hand, knocked the point off, and I want to use it. This got a bit of a draft angle on the side of it here. That's almost exactly what that is. So I've left 0.2 to dress the back edge with, so we'll get this milled down to 2.5mm and we'll go from there. Check if I tighten this up properly. I was doing some weird stuff when I was cleaning the ends up. Yeah, she's tight. Tighten the bloody collar chuck up properly. No, I didn't. Idiot. Got the other week too. I'll touch it off again now. It's amazing how much better things work when they're done up tight, isn't it? Pull on there, tip on. Yeah, it's in the right depth. Alright, so I'll get that tool out of there. It was kind of a weird looking tool when he first gave it to me. I thought, what the hell is that for? And I was watching another video one day, and a guy pulled out something that looked a bit similar to this. And I thought, so that's what that thing's for. Oh, a bit of docket paper, which I know is about 0.06 or something like that. There we go. Zero that X out. I'm going to move over that way. 0.2. That looks like that sits pretty nicely up against that. Alrighty. Now I'm not going to do anything about cutting the angles on it until after I've screwed this in here, because then what I'll do is I'll just scribe it, set it up in the mill and mill them off, and then I'll take over the belt sand and put a bit of relief on it. Alrighty, so this hole in this tip is about 2.6, and I don't have a drill that size, So I used 2.5. Put it in nice about to start with. What's that look like? Looking terrible. And then you want to get a little closer to the back and the front, so we can pull it in tight against it. Okay, pull it there. Righty, so this one takes 2.5mm screw, so I don't have 2.1 is what I need, but I only have 2. Damn, this battery's about to go flat. I'll better change it back in a minute. If you're a recent subscriber to my channel, you wouldn't have seen the drama I went through to get one of these, well actually 2 in the end, I don't know, there's only one in the bag, I don't know what the other one is. 2.5mm taps. That was the 3rd time I ordered them, but I finally got, they just kept sending me bloody 3mm taps all the time, idiots. I gave up on the first lot. I said, I just sent a message, you idiot, you sent me 3mm tap. I ordered 2.5s. And I gave up on them in the end, ordered from someone else, and finally got 2.5mm tap. Couldn't find anyone in Thailand listing the bloody things, and not long after these ones showed up out of China, all of a sudden one popped up, a supplier in Thailand popped up with these 2.5mm tap, M2.5 taps. I drilled really deep because I only have a taper tap, so I've got to go in a fair way to make sure I get enough thread in there. Alright, so I'll dig out a screw and see if I got that bloody right or not, whether I'm going to have to mill a little bit more off the back edge. These damn things are so easy to lose, I buy them 10 at a time. So easy to drop one in the swarf, never to be seen again. Alrighty, I don't see a gap at the back of that, so looks pretty good to me. Actually, I suppose there's an easy way to check this. There's a bit of docket paper. See if I can slide that in behind it. No, I can't. So looks like got it right first go. I'll scribe a couple of lines on there. Bought myself a good cardboard, well I thought it was a good cardboard scriber a while back, and the bloody tip fell out of it and they could never find it. Alrighty, so I'll get that out of there, get the tip out, set it up, and we'll mill those angles on it. Alrighty, so all I did was set it up in there, eyeballed the line I scribed with the top edge of this. It should be close enough for what we're doing here. Alrighty, so I didn't quite take enough off here, there's a little bit just there left over. That one looks pretty good. I'll take it over and I'll dress it up on the belt sander a bit until I get rid of that, and also put just a little bit of taper back that way on it, and I'll show you. Alrighty, so there we have it. That's come up pretty nice. I think that'll work well, that tool. Just a bit of relief down each side, around this end back down here a bit, just a bit of clearance, so that should work well. At least I hope it does. So that was the easy one. So the next one, we've got to take a bit out of the middle slot in here for that tip, and then make a little retainer for it. So we'll get on with that next. Alrighty, so I've got that all centered up. I've got to cut an 8mm wide slot, so I've got a 6mm cutter in there because I don't want it to cut oversized. And I paid a visit over to the tool and cutter grinder and knocked the corners off this because they were square. And when I'm done with this and got it the right width, I'll get in there with a 2mm end mill and just clean the corners of it up. We've got to go in 5mm and back, oh, I forgot now, what was it? 13mm. Oh, you dirty bastard. Oh, yeah, bloody beautiful. Right, we'll get that little tiny end mill in there now and clean that back corner up. Oh, get out of there. This thing is just slightly tapered. I'm half contemplating, when I first put this in there, just clean it all up really well and then just put a dollop of super glue or something in there just to keep it in place a little bit better. Really nerve-wracking using those little 2mm bloody end mills. You know. Actually, bloody dopely. Rightio. Actually, I didn't get deep enough with that shit. What the hell happened there? I need to go a lot deeper than that. Fuck out. Need to go another bloody 5mm in there. I'll bring you back later, I'm going to have to fix that up. Alrighty, got that down to where I wanted to be now, and very stupidly, went to wind that out, it was still running, went to wind it out, grabbed the bloody Y handle and started winding it across instead of the Z handle to wind it up, snapped the frigging thing off. Anyway, so that's that. Now I need to machine mill the corners off it, and then we'll get in and do something about I'm nearly there. I think I might have made this too short because by the time I put a little clamp in here, there's not going to be a lot left here to hang on to, and that's going to be sticking out an awful long way. But anyway. Alrighty, so there we have it. So I'm actually tempted to maybe silver solder that in there instead of trying to clamp it, because I'll just have a look and see how it sits in the tool holder. Kind of wondering if maybe, you know, if I put the last clamp screw right on the top of that, just like glue it in, maybe put some epoxy resin or something under it, and then just sort of bring it in so the very last clamp screw in the holder is on the back edge of it. Might keep it in there okay, without having to put the clamp on it. But I'll have a look how it sits in the tool holder and then we'll go from there. Alrighty, so like I said, I think I made it too short. I never considered just how bloody far in that thing sits. Otherwise I could have added like that much more to the length of it, or maybe even that much to the length of it. I was going to make it 75mm originally. Originally I thought 100, I thought no, that's too long. Then I thought 75, I thought no, that's too long. I only made it 70. But if I was to use this last clamp screw to clamp down on the back edge of that, where are we? Only stick out about that far, which is, you know, not enough. So I'll have to stick it out like maybe at least that far to get a clamp on it. And then I'd only be able to clamp it with these two screws. So anyway, we'll see how we go. Alrighty, so I saved you have to sit through all the boring bit of machining like that down. This is to make the clamp. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to mill a 1/2 millimetre deep groove across here. And then I'm going to side mill this down to about, or maybe half the width that it is now, just to sort of taper the end down a bit. Alrighty, so I'll drill a hole in that and then I'll take it over the saw and chop it off. Alrighty, so I'm just hoping that 1/2 mil is deep enough. It should be. I don't think it should be a problem. Anyway, so I'll go cut that off in the saw. Alrighty, so just to tart this off just a little bit more, I'm just going to put a bit of a taper on this bleeding edge here. It's just that doesn't look so chunky looking. Alrighty, so I'll get that set up and ready to drill and tap it. I'll come back there. Alrighty, so I've got the 2 bits pinched in there, bit of paper beside each of them so they'll stay in the right place. Hopefully wind this all up. So we'll get in there, we'll spot it, and I'll get that bit out of there. And then I'll take it out because that kicked a bit then. So I didn't have it perfectly lined up. Alrighty, so I'll get that out of there and chamfer that hole, finish dressing this up a bit, find a bolt, put in there, and then we'll bolt it all again and we'll have a look at it. Alrighty, looks a bit high actually, that thing. You could probably do with knocking a bit off the top, thinning it out a bit, but I don't know, probably alright. Well, I think that'll hold that in there alright. Looks pretty good. I think I might, before I ever use this, get my diamond stones out, lay this flat on it and just, you know, give it a rub across the top, sharpen these edges up a bit. But I think that came up pretty well. It is a bit bloody short, let's face it. But you know, if I was the third screw, would be on top of the other tool there. But anyway, that looks pretty groovy, I reckon. I like that. Anyway, I think I'll blue these, otherwise that'll just rust in a bloody real hurry. So it's pretty late in the day, that can wait till tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll pull the tips and everything off it and glue these 2 bits, that bit and that bit, and we'll wrap this up. Alrighty, just a quickie. Lying in bed last night, well actually started before that, while I was editing yesterday's bits of video, I got to thinking that the way I had that long was just ridiculous. I wouldn't actually be able to use this end because all of this is in the way, and I would have to do something with this. I would have to unbolt it. I thought about maybe drill and tap a hole on the side, so I could unbolt that, just bolt it onto the side of it. I just thought, no, it's bloody useless. So what I did today was I cut it off, and I welded a 45mm long piece in there. So now it's 115mm long. Originally I was just thinking about making it 100mm long, but now it's 115. But much more usable tool, so I can use both ends of it without any drama. So now I accidentally welded it to here at one stage, so I'll have to re-blue this bloody holder as well. But anyway, it's part day today, so won't be bluing that today. I'll blue it up tomorrow, and then we might get it in the lathe and try it out. If you're like me and you don't live in your home country, but you want to access things but you're finding that they're geo-blocked, then you need either a VPN or a DNS proxy server. If you're finding the VPNs are just too slow, they slow everything down too much, then once again you need a DNS proxy server. Now I stream stuff from Australia, which is all geo-blocked. I've been using for years now Smart DNS Proxy, and it does a great job. No buffering issues, no problems. So even if you don't live outside your country, you want to access something that's not in your country but it's elsewhere, once again a DNS proxy servers to go. So have a look at Smart DNS Proxy, you'll find it's a great little thing. Link in the description. At this point in the video, I'd like to thank my patrons. This continued support is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to become a patron, there's a link down in the description. You can sign up there and drop me a couple of dollars every month. If you don't want to be a regular contributor, there's always buy me a coffee. Now let's get back to the build. If you've been enjoying watching me make this, how about doing me a favour and smashing that like button, because you know it kind of helps me out. For those of you who are still with me, you're probably still wondering, well, kind of wondering the same thing I am. Will it all work? Was it a waste of bloody time, or is it just, you know, pretty good? So I've taken the opportunity while you weren't watching to turn down this bit of material. Here's the same piece that I used to make the drawbar I made recently, and because I made made the thread too small, decided I'd make a start on maybe making a new one. So I've turned this down a bit. I didn't want to spend too much time doing it. Turn it down a bit, give myself a bit of room here, 10mm there. No run in, because I'm going to get rid of the tailstock this time, because it was, you know, pushing away and doing all sorts of rubbish before. Now I've got this sort of half set up on there. There's nothing touching at the moment. It's still sitting here in the tailstock, because I want to move this back up this way as close to here as I can kind of get it. But I want to chamfer that first and chamfer that using this end of the tool. So let's see how that goes. Alrighty, so I didn't pull all the pulleys and stuff out that I used to thread that drawbar, so they're all still in there. So I'll turn this tool around and set it up, get rid of the tailstock, set all this up, and then we'll have a crack at threading with this other end here. Alrighty, so I decided to move the camera and put it on a tripod, and I hope A, I don't kick it, and B, it stays in focus and it doesn't try to focus on top of that nut all the time. But anyway, and to try not to bump it with the my arm as well. Anyway, let's see how we go. Alrighty, let's go. Something tells me that's going to cut a pretty hideous thread, because that's a very, very wide point on there. But anyway, it just does look fairly round on the end, this tip. I don't think it's going to cut a very nice thread. Anyway, we'll persevere with it. I might, if it starts looking crappy towards the end, I might just run a button die up it or something and see how it goes. I might need to hone these stones up a bit, these tips up a bit, to get them cut more of a point. That is rough as guts, hideous as. Well, I don't really want this to drag on for too long, and to try and save this part so I can use it later, I might switch over to the new threading tool I bought to make that drawbar with, and finish it off with that. I don't want to make you sit through that unless you'd like to see it. Well, that ain't going there, so yeah, I think I might do that. And maybe some of you who are interested to see how well it threads with the rest on it. Alrighty, so In the end I had to finish it with this threading insert I used before, because out of the box it would appear that these brazen tips are just far too blunt on the end, and we can see how rounded that is. So they need cleaning up, put more of a point on them to make them useful, but I suspect if I did that then they'd be fine. Obviously this end here is a bit of a winner, it works well. So after running the file over that, just cleaning it up a bit, this tapped out nut I was using to test the other one with fits up there beautifully. Nice tight fit, or not tight, you know, but firm fit. There's no play in it. So I'll be able to use this to make a new drawbar sometime while you guys are not looking for the mill. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and if you did, make sure you come back next week, because I'm tossing up at the moment on just what I will do now that I've proven that using the steady rest is the way to go for threading on this particular lathe, because the tailstock's just not rigid enough. It wants to push away all the time. So I'm thinking about making a follow rest, and when I did the cross slides up, I did put 2 bolt holes in the front of it so that I could bolt a follow rest on there. I could just never see much use for one, but now that I can thread on here, I think I do have a use for one, so I might look at making one of them. And there's something else I saw the other week that kind of intrigues me. I'm not going to say what it was, I'll leave it. I don't know how many views it'll get, but it looks like an interesting concept, and I want to see if it'll work or not. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week. Bye bye.